Imagine the piercing cry of a newborn echoing through the sterile halls of the most exclusive private hospital in New York City, only for that cry to fade into an unnerving silence. That's how Alexander Harrington III entered the world, born to one of the wealthiest families on the planet, yet destined, or so it seemed, to live in a world without sound. But what if I told you that silence was a lie? A deception so profound it shattered empires and mended broken hearts. Stick with me through this incredible tale of love, betrayal, and redemption, and by the end, you'll see how one poor girl's unyielding spirit uncovered a truth that changed everything. If this story moves you, and I promise it will, hit that like button to show your support, and subscribe to the channel for more heart-wrenching stories that remind us of the power of truth and compassion. Now let's dive in. Alexander Harrington III, or Alex as he would later be known, was the heir to the Harrington fortune, a sprawling empire built on tech innovations, real estate, and investments that spanned continents. His father, Victor Harrington, was a titan of industry, a man whose name alone could open doors or crush competitors. Victor's wife, Elena, was a former model turned philanthropist, her life a whirlwind of galas and charity events. When Alex was born on a crisp autumn morning, the world expected perfection. But tests revealed he was profoundly deaf, a congenital condition that no amount of money could immediately fix. Victor, ever the pragmatist, poured millions into research, specialists, and experimental treatments. Elena, heartbroken, withdrew into a shell of quiet despair. The media dubbed Alex the Silent Prince, and the Harringtons retreated behind the walls of their sprawling mansion in the Hamptons, shielding their son from prying eyes. Years passed, and Alex grew into a bright, curious boy, navigating his silent world with the help of sign language tutors, cochlear implant consultations, and the best adaptive technologies money could buy. But Victor, obsessed with legacy, saw Alex's deafness as a flaw that could tarnish the family name. He pushed for surgeries, therapies, anything to normalize his son. Elena, on the other hand, found solace in Alex's innocence, teaching him to paint and draw, turning their home into a gallery of his vibrant, soundless expressions. Yet, beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Victor's late nights at the office turned into absences, and whispers of affairs and corporate scandals began to circulate in high society. Enter Lila Monroe, a girl from the wrong side of the tracks. Born in a rundown apartment in Brooklyn, Lila was the daughter of a single mother who worked 2 jobs as a waitress and a cleaner just to keep the lights on. Lila's father had abandoned them when she was 5, leaving behind a trail of debts and broken promises. From a young age, Lila learned resilience. She excelled in school on scholarships, dreamed of becoming a doctor, and spent her summers volunteering at community centers for children with disabilities. At 18, she landed a part-time job as a nanny's assistant in the Hamptons, a world away from her own. It was there, in the Harrington mansion, that her path crossed with Alex's. Alex was 10 when Lila first met him. He was sitting in the sun-drenched library, his small hands flying through signs as he read a picture book. Lila, with her warm smile and gentle demeanor, approached cautiously. She had learned basic sign language during her volunteer work, enough to introduce herself. "Hi, I'm Lila," she signed, her movements deliberate. Alex's eyes lit up, a rare sight according to the staff. He signed back, "I'm Alex. Do you like stories?" From that moment, a bond formed. Lila wasn't just another employee, she became his confidant, his playmate, his window to a world beyond silence. As weeks turned into months, Lila noticed peculiarities. Alex would flinch at sudden loud noises when no one was looking, like the slam of a door or the bark of the family dog. At first, she dismissed it as coincidence, perhaps a residual sensitivity from failed treatments, but doubt crept in. One afternoon, while playing hide-and-seek in the vast gardens, Lila accidentally dropped a metal tray behind him. Alex whipped around, his face pale with surprise. Her heart raced. Could it be? She began testing subtly, clapping her hands out of sight, whispering his name when his back was turned. Each time, a reaction, subtle, but undeniable. The discovery gnawed at her. Why would a deaf child respond to sound? Lila confided in no one at first, fearing she'd lose her job. But her conscience wouldn't let it rest. She started digging, using the mansion's library and her limited access to the internet at a local cafe. Medical journals spoke of psychosomatic deafness, rare cases where trauma-induced hearing loss that wasn't physical. Could Alex's condition be psychological? The idea seemed far-fetched, but it fit. Victor's demanding nature, Elena's emotional distance, perhaps something in Alex's early years had triggered. Lila's life outside the mansion was no easier. Her mother, Maria, fell ill with a chronic condition, medical bills piling up like autumn leaves. Lila worked extra shifts, sacrificing sleep and studies. Yet, her time with Alex became her anchor. He taught her about perseverance. She showed him joy in simplicity. They built forts from blankets, signed stories of adventures, and shared dreams. Alex dreamed of hearing the ocean's roar, Lila of affording college. Their friendship deepened, but so did the secrets. One evening, during a rare family dinner, tension boiled over. Victor announced plans for another experimental surgery on Alex, one with risks including permanent damage. Elena protested weakly, but Victor's word was law. Alex, sensing the storm, retreated to his room. Lila followed, finding him curled up, tears streaming. "I don't want more pain," he signed. "That's—" When Lila decided, she had to uncover the truth. Sneaking into Victor's study late at night was risky, but desperation fueled her. Rifling through drawers, she found locked files. Using a hairpin, a trick from her rough neighborhood, she pried one open. Inside, medical records, but not Alex's. They were for a child named Subject A, detailing auditory experiments funded by Harrington Industries. Her blood ran cold. Buried deeper, a letter from a doctor dated shortly after Alex's birth. "The child's hearing is intact, but per your instructions, we've documented congenital deafness to facilitate the research grant." The truth hit like a thunderclap. Alex wasn't born deaf. Victor had fabricated the condition to secure billions in government grants for hearing restoration tech, a project that promised miracles but delivered little. The deafness was induced through subtle psychological conditioning and withheld treatments, all to manipulate funding and stock prices. Elena knew fragments but was complicit in her silence, trapped in a loveless marriage. Shocked, Lila photographed the documents on her phone. But Victor's security was tight, alarms blared. She fled, heart pounding, straight to Alex's room. Waking him, she signed frantically, "You can hear, it's not real." For the first time, she spoke aloud. "Alex, listen to me." His eyes widened. He heard her. Tears flowed as memories surfaced, muffled sounds from infancy, suppressed by fear of his father's wrath. The fallout was explosive. Lila contacted a journalist friend from her volunteer days, leaking the evidence anonymously at first. The story broke like a dam. Billionaire fakes son's deafness for profit. Headlines screamed across the globe. Victor denied it, but investigations unraveled his empire. Elena, finally finding her voice, divorced him and fought for custody. Alex underwent therapy, his deafness revealed as a trauma response, gradually lifting as he embraced sound. Challenges abounded. Lila faced threats from Victor's lawyers, her family's safety at risk. She lost her job, her dreams of med school seeming distant. Alex struggled with sensory overload, the world of noise overwhelming after years of silence, but together they healed. Lila's mother received aid from Elena's foundation, and Alex advocated for real disability research. In the end, Alex heard the ocean's roar on a beach with Lila, their hands intertwined, not as nanny and child, but as equals. Victor's fall inspired reforms in corporate ethics. The message? Truth, no matter how buried, has the power to set us free. Love and courage can topple empires. If this story touched your heart, remember, like and subscribe for more tales that prove miracles happen when we listen to our hearts and each other. But wait, that's just the surface. Let's delve deeper into their lives because this story isn't over yet. Flashback to Lila's childhood in Brooklyn. The streets were alive with the cacophony of city life. Honking taxis, shouting vendors, distant sirens. Lila, a skinny girl with braids and hand-me-down clothes, would press her ear to the thin walls of their apartment, listening to her mother's soft sobs after long shifts. "One day, Mama, I'll make it better," she'd whisper. School was her escape. Teachers praised her sharp mind, but bullies mocked her poverty. "Trash girl," they'd jeer. Yet Lila turned pain into purpose, volunteering at a center for deaf kids where she learned ASL from a kind instructor named Mrs. Patel. Communication isn't just words, Mrs. Patel signed. It's connection. Meanwhile, in the opulent Harrington world, Alex's early years were gilded cage nurses and tutors paraded through, but affection was scarce. Victor viewed him as an asset, Elena, racked with guilt over her own secrets. A past affair that Victor used as leverage distanced herself. Alex's deafness began subtly. Doctors, paid off, administered mild sedatives during tests to mimic unresponsiveness. Victor's plan?